Please understand that lack of historical sense and lack of identity is the reason that today Europe does not have an answer to the troubles that are facing it. There is a decent chance that 70% of the people in this audience might say, all I am interested is in Vikas and development and nothing else. All I'm interested in is in increasing the livelihood and the standard of living of the people, and that's all. Europe has done it. Europe did it several years ago. But they don't have an answer to the identity crisis facing them today. इनके पास जवाब नहीं है कि इसको क्या करें, इस इमिग्रेशन के साथ कैसे डील करें. Because they don't know who they are, because they think it is wrong on their part to say that we are Europeans of a different heritage altogether, that we subscribe to a different set of values. They feel ashamed about professing their different values because it has become politically incorrect. What passes off as secularism in this country is called multiculturalism in Europe and United Kingdom. And these are basically two different names of the same animal, the same jantu, the same creature, which is political correctness, which is meant to brush aside facts, suppress facts, relegate it to the dustbin of history at the expense of history and at a huge cost to people. Development is important. Nobody doubts it. For the person on the street who struggles for 2 square meals a day, history gaya kude mein. Because what he bothers about and what he cares about and what he should be bothered about is his livelihood on a daily basis. There is no doubting it. But then, here's the funny part. You go to any 5-star or 7-star hotel in Delhi, you will find a 6.5 feet tall, broad Sardar standing as the guard at the door. And then a white tourist decides to enter the place. You see a marked difference in his behavior immediately, wherein he bows down this namaste, and we treat this as Indian culture, this is our hospitality. Put yourself in the same shoes. Which European hotel or American hotel you've been to, where you get the same treatment from their bartenders and their waiters? The problem is, servility has become synonymous with service mentality. These are two different things. Being hospitable is not the same as becoming a slave to somebody else. But unfortunately, if you're repeatedly told that for generations together, you have been slaves, you will continue to be slaves, your entire value system is a bunch of humbug and a load of superstition, you're bound to think of yourself as people who deserve to be treated like slaves. Have you heard of any incidents against Arabs in Australia? Can an Arab student be killed the way an Indian student is killed in Australia? I don't think so. Because they believe, one, there will be repercussions if you touch them, that's one. Two, Indians hai, humility is our central identity, that's our central feature. Humility, according to me, is the most misunderstood trait as far as Indian history is concerned. Humility simply means there could be someone better than me and recognizing the fact that there could be someone superior to me. But that does not translate to accepting that I'm inferior to everybody else. That is the definition of humility as far as India is concerned, and that repeats itself on a regular basis in the manner in which Indian history is projected. Do you know of the number of expansionist, let's say, wars or campaigns undertaken by the Cholas in the Southeast Asia? How many Chola kings are we aware of? Are we aware of the fact that it took 5 different armies of 5 different sultanates to destroy the Vijayanagara Empire? That it was an unequal war? And the rampage of Hampi went on for 6 months. It took several years for people, or rather several months for people to destroy one civilization or one empire. But all we hear is a tomb which is built for somebody's second or third wife. And I suspect he had a wife after that. And one of his daughters also performed the role of a wife later. This is a fact. When Shah Jahan was imprisoned along with his daughter by Aurangzeb, there are written records which clearly say that his daughter effectively had to take up the role or don the mantle of a wife. And yet that tomb is supposed to be the symbol of his love for his wife. Great, accepted. Is there nothing else worth showcasing in India? If you go to any country, even in America, the worst or the latest that they can show, or the earliest that they can show, is a structure running before about 300 or 400 years. 300, 400 years, I think there will be a temple in a village in this country, in every village. Most temples, at least in the south, are at least 2,500 years old or 2,000 years old. The reason why I have to talk about the south is most temples of the north have effectively, how do I put it, which anyway we can't talk about. It would be extremely politically incorrect. It could hurt a lot of sentiments. It could hurt so many sentiments that I will find a lot of death threats and hate mails coming to me the next day. So I'd rather not talk about it. But then, if you really want to read about it, please read Sri Sitaram Goyal's book, What Happened to Hindu Temples. He gives a detailed exposition of destruction by destruction, the number of temples that were destroyed. Read the books of Dharampal. Read the books of Sri Conrad Elst. Read the books of David Frawley. Read the books of Michel Danino. Read Max Muller. Max Muller is supposed to be the one who started the Aryan invasion theory. But then if you read his books and his teachings, in fact there is a beautiful book, it's a short book that you get on Kindle, India, What It Can Teach Us. Just read it, it's barely 80 to 100 pages. A brilliant exposition of how he believes that there is not a single thought in the world that has not been thought of in India. And something that does not exist in India cannot exist elsewhere. That is a German saying. Not that a German saying makes it great, but then since we are fans of people who come out of India, I might as well put it that way. It has to make a difference. I wish I were a skin tone lighter. My statement would perhaps carry more weight. So, to cut a long story short, recontextualizing history is not about knowing certain facts, certain dates. It is first of all about understanding the value of history and then focusing on the facts. If the mind is not a fertile ground to receive facts because it does not see the value in receiving those facts, आप facts भरते जाइए, उससे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा?